We all know Wonderkids in Europe are often more well known and also have a bigger price tag on their head in FM22. Well, in today's video, I'll be showing you a team of 11 Wonderkids, all of which are playing their football outside of Europe and therefore are often pretty good value for money. I'm not going for the obvious ones in this list. Most of these players will be unknown to you. So grab your notepad and pen, kick back and enjoy as we take you through a bunch of Wonderkids all fit in that criteria who hopefully will make great signings in your save. Hello everybody, welcome to the FMSCOUT channel. I'm Jake and it's pretty simple really. You heard the criteria in the intro. Let's get right into player number one. And if you appreciate the video, if you find someone, don't forget to smash the like and the subscribe button, guys. Thank you. Now let's get into the goalkeeper. And we start off with one of the more well-known names on the list. It's sometimes hard to find Wonderkid goalkeepers anyway, especially when you exclude all of European football. And we have gone for Matthias Danelli, a Brazilian 19-year-old. Now the nationality of Brazilian and the nation of Brazil in general is going to appear a lot in this video. As you all know, a lot of the best players in the world start their careers out in Brazil, and Matthias Danelli is a player who has plenty of potential in FM. 19 years of age, he's got a fair bit of development under his belt, and whilst he's not going to set the world alight for any team straight away, he definitely has, and I've seen it, he can have the potential to be a big player for your sides. All of the players in this list, of course, have Wonderkid potential, so depending on how their potential falls within their range on your save, you could be signing some top players here. He's not going to set you back too much money either. Of course, bear in mind if you're in England, there's going to be registration rules and all of that good stuff with all of these players. But if you have the Brazilian leagues loaded, which I suggest you do, Matthias Danelli will be in your save somewhere or other, and he can make a good goalkeeper. So scout him, see what you think, and that is player number one. Moving on to right back, and we are looking at the Brazilian Matthias Zeno playing for Flamengo. I didn't mention, but Danelli is at Corinthians, I believe. Matthias Zeno is at FLA, who I assume are Flamengo. Did I say Flamengo a second ago? I very well might have done. Anyway, he is a top draw attacking right back who isn't going to set you back too much money. Now, his potential isn't as high as some of the others because he is already 20 years of age, but that does mean you're getting a player who has developed a lot already and has a lot of attributes that you would consider very good. Now, don't take the star rating into account too much as we are Chelsea in this save, so it's comparing him to some of the best players in world football. He's particularly good in the areas going forward and would make a great wing back either in the actual wing back position or with the role of wing back in that right back spot. And speaking of wing backs, that's actually a role that we're using on my Villarreal save. What an amazing segue that was, guys, right? Speaking of a Villarreal save, if you want to check it out, you can find my channel linked in the description. I'm getting stuck with my words here, but yeah, you can find my channel in the description if you want to check it out. More Let's Play style stuff over there. If you enjoy this content, you might enjoy that. Give it a try, see what you think. I'd greatly appreciate it. We're aiming for 8,000 subscribers, and we could get there pretty soon, and then who knows, the 10k goal might not be too far off. But Matthias Zeno is a player that I have used on occasion. He's not going to set you back too much money either, and he has some very nice technical, mental and physical attributes. If you haven't tried him yet, give him a go, see what you think. Interestingly, I've just noticed he's got like 9 free kicks and tries long free kicks trait. I have no clue, let's not really question it. Now let's move on to our left back. And we're going with an Argentinian in the left back spot, but wait, before we talk about him, what's that I hear? We have a sponsor on today's video. It is of course the good people over at SPITCH, so bear with me a few seconds whilst I tell you a little bit about them. SPITCH is a fantasy football app available for people in the UK, Ireland, Austria and Germany over the age of 18. This is a bit different to the normal fantasy football content you might be used to. Normal fantasy football takes place over the course of a season, however SPITCH focuses on building your squads for individual weekly tournaments where you can win real prizes. There's both free and paid for leagues that you can enter, all with their own unique rewards, and all you need to do to get involved and build your team, like you're seeing me doing on screen right now, is to check out the link in the description, which we of course would greatly appreciate. Once you click that link, you'll download the app, you'll have to register. If you're in the UK, you might have to show your ID to do that, and then you're good to go. Select your team, pick your captain for bonus points, and even use the statistical analysis features in SPITCH to pick the best side you can. Where were we? Back to the left back position, where there's a fair few players outside of Europe who can make some good options. The first one was Julian Aud, who I think also plays in the Argentinian divisions, if I'm not wrong, but I've spoke about him before in a previous video, and we're trying to keep it fresh in this one. So we're going with the left back Valentin Barco. He's an Argentinian at 16 years of age, playing for one of the biggest teams in Argentina, in Boca. He's only going to cost you a few million, and he is a player with a tremendous amount of potential who can play technically anywhere along that left flank, but you would definitely think he's better suited to these left back roles. Now, physically, he's pretty impressive for a 16-year-old already, particularly in the pace department, stamina, jumping reach, strength, all of that you can worry about as he begins to develop, but mentally, he's fairly well balanced. In this save, at least, he's got some very low determination, so we've got unlucky here, but in your save, it might be different. Even in this case, he might be worth a signing. He's already got a lot of potential. Maybe we can mentor him, get his determination up a little bit, and then who knows what he can become. Good at tackling, marking, crossing, with really good work rate. He'll be getting up and down in that left back role for you. As with all 16, 17-year-olds in Football Manager with potential, you can kind of mould them into whatever player you want. You don't necessarily have to use him in your first team straight away. You'll obviously develop him in your youth sides for a few years until he's ready, at which point you'll be looking at a completely different player. So maybe he can be an option for your sides at left back. You'd thought we got away from them, but no, the Brazilians are back. I had to include one of him or Renan, and considering I spoke about Renan a little bit more, who is also a very good Brazilian centre-back, Wonderkid if you didn't know, but today we're going for the cheaper option of Kaiki. Much like all the other players we've looked at, he's not going to set you back too much. He's good with both feet, very good mentally, technically and physically as well, where there's not too many flaws in him. Yes, he might be a bit small, but he will grow, and to be honest, a small centre-back might not be the end of the world, depending on your tactical style and what you're looking to play. But Kaiki I won't spend too long talking about because he is already very well known, I think. But if you're making a team of Wonderkids outside of Europe, one of him or Renan had to be in it, so I went for the lesser chosen option of Kaiki. If you haven't tried him out, give him a go. Very good in all areas with plenty of potential to get even better. Now for a centre-back that honestly I had never heard of. Maybe he was a winter update centre-back, but until I started looking at this list and preparing this list, I was not aware of a 16-year-old Brazilian named Jar. Much like Kaiki, he plays at the back for Santos and looks like a very good prospect actually. There is definitely some areas that he's lacking in at the age of 16, but you wouldn't worry too much about those right now. What's really special about this guy is he has a certain few attributes. This could be random. I'm hoping it's the same in your save, or at least close to, but he's already got some attributes in this save that many players at the age of 28, 29 would dream of. Positioning is at 16. First touch, 16. Passing, 16. Tackling, 16. These are very, very good attributes, particularly for a centre-back, and there's an argument to be made that maybe we can retrain him to a position further forward. Very, very good technically is this man, and he really is the perfect modern-day centre-back who has got it all in the ball-playing areas. Now, he is lacking in a lot of the other standard defensive areas when it comes to pace, when it comes to strength, when it comes to height, when it comes to mental ability. There's a lot to be done with this man, but he's certainly worth a try if you haven't already. Who knows what he could become? I don't think he'll be a world beater because his potential is capped at 160, I believe, but still, he has potential to be a good level centre-back with some very, very strong specific attributes. I like him. I'm surprised I never came across him before. Check him out. Moving into the midfield, and you'll be happy to know there's only two other Brazilians in this list. We're mixing it up a little bit now. We've had one Argentinian, and now we go out to Mexico, where Santiago Nevada, the Mexican 20-year-old, is playing his football. You'll be able to pick him up for around £3 million, which seems to be about the price of every single player in this list. Almost seems like a glitch. I will have to check this afterwards, but he looks like a great prospect in centre mid. Nevada is never going to be one of the world's best players, but what he can be is a very good squad option for a top level team once he has developed, and he's not setting you back all that much. He currently has 19 appearances for Club America, but he is currently in the midst of a very bad injury, so it might be worth scouting him. If he recovers well, he could be worth the punt. Pretty good mentally and then decent technically in a few different roles. Like I say, never going to set the world alight, never going to be the world's best, but certainly someone who's worth at least hitting that scout button on and seeing what your scouts come back with. He could be someone who could have an impact in your team for very cheap. And to partner him in the centre of midfield, we head over to the MLS to Vancouver, where you will find Ecuadorian under-20 international Pedro Vite. He has only just joined Vancouver from Independiente Juniors, so you won't be able to sign him straight away, and we'll have to scout to see how he plays out before you go for him. But as a midfielder, he is starting to look like he could have some good potential. At the age of 19, he's got less room to grow than some of the others, but it does mean that he's probably about ready to get some football somewhere, and Vancouver might be the place to do it. If you let him play there for a year or two, or buy him and loan him somewhere, you might start to see some developments out of a man who isn't going to cost you the world either. He's already got some good physical attributes, and whilst his balance, jumping reach and strength do need work, it's something to work with that he is pretty quick and has some nice stamina and natural fitness. And then technically is actually where I think he shines, because corners, dribbling, finishing, first touch, technique, amongst a bunch of others, are actually at a fairly decent level. He's not lacking in a specific area too much. I think he's got what he needs to be a potentially very good Messala, if we do highlight that and select attack. Obviously there's some roles in the mental department that he needs some work with, does need to up his balance, which will come with age. He will develop a lot in his physicals over the next couple of years, but I do think he could make a good player, so check him out at Vancouver, let him develop a little bit, and maybe you'll be able to sign him. Sticking in the MLS and going to FC Dallas, we will find the Argentinian Alan Velasco, who has joined them recently from Independiente, so he's another one who is worth just watching for a little bit. With one of the highest values in this video, Alan Velasco is also fairly well known, but we did decide to leave out the more well-known names of Goncalves, Matthias Franca, Savio as well was another one that I could have put in that we left, but Alan Velasco is definitely one of the more, how do you say it, guaranteed to be good kind of players in this list. I'm not saying he's going to be world class, and he definitely can be though, but compared to some of the others, he's got a lot more of a chance of being a top draw player in your save, and is always worth a scout. The number 10 for FC Dallas has a lot of attributes that are lending to him being a very good wide player. Physically, he's quick with good natural fitness, looking to cut in on his right foot, as most modern day wide players are now. They're looking to cut inside. Strength and jumping reach and balance might be an issue, but we'll get round to that as he develops in his age. Mentally very strong in all areas with a good set of determination, work rate, vision, composure, amongst many other things. And then his technicals are looking alright as well. Corners, finishing at a decent level, passing and technique at a decent level as well, first touch, crossing might need some work, but he is definitely a player that can be a revolution for your side should you sign him. Scout him, check him out, maybe he'll be the future of your left hand side, only time will tell. On the opposite end of the pitch, we are going for the Brazilian Giovanni, who is another player that I had not came across so far. Playing for Palmeiras at 17 years of age, this player will cost you again around £4 or £5 million, and at 6 foot, he's definitely a player that could cause issues on that right hand side. With a very strong left foot, he looks to move into channels, place his shots and cut inside from the right wing. They're traits that will suit him very well on that right hand side. Physically, very well developed already for a 17-year-old and is only going to get more threatening. Technically, he looks pretty incredible. Technique, passing, dribbling, crossing, corners, finishing, and I've just noticed I've called him incredible. Is that a 4 for first touch that he's got there? That is odd. That is odd considering everything else is so good. Who knows what happened to him there? Maybe it's the same in your saves, maybe it's not. If you get as unlucky as me though, that seems pretty random, but maybe we can train it out of him. Mentally as well, there's some areas that he's good in, some areas that he's poor in, but with some decent determination, flair, work rate, vision and off the ball. He's got a lot of what he's going to need. You can see what's highlighted here if we select inside forward, for example. If he can up that composure, anticipation, he'll be a very, very strong option. Again, no idea what's happened with that first touch, but Giovanni, if you know anything about that, let me know. Let's move on to our final two players. And playing down the middle, we have the Argentinian Facundo Farias. Now he looks like he is probably due a move fairly soon from Colón out in Argentina, where he is now a very consistent starter for them at the age of 18. His valuation suggests there's definitely a bargain to be had there if you can get there quick. Physically, mentally and technically very good in all areas. He's got amazing dribbling and technique for a player who's 18 years of age, and much like his compatriot that we looked at on the left hand side, he is one of those players in this list who's got more of a chance of being good just because he starts with some very good attributes and he has some higher potential than the others. Facundo Farias, you can really tell there is some talent here. Right footed, through the middle, on the left, up front, wherever you want to use him, even centre of midfield or on the right hand side. This guy has got it all. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you have enjoyed. Comment down below your favourite player outside of Europe, and we finish off with, let's go find him. And the reason that I picked this guy might purely be because of his name, I don't know, but we've got the Brazilian John Kennedy. Playing in Fluminense out in Brazil, this guy is going to be the striker in this team, if you want to call it that, and whilst he might not be the the world's best striker in Wonderkid, he is definitely a player that I hadn't really came across before, whose name stuck out to me and I thought I've got to check him out, and he actually looks pretty good. He's quick with some good decision making, work rate and off the ball, which is only going to develop as time goes on, and those things are very important in this year's match engine. I feel he can finish, he can dribble, he's got good first touch, passing and technique. Add in a cheeky long shot here and there, some nice vision, and you have got a player who could develop into a good striker for a top division side. Like some of the others in this list, he's not going to be the best player at Real Madrid or Barcelona, but he's certainly a player that can contribute at full growth. His valuation is fairly low as well, and he could be one that is worth a go in your save. I think he is potentially a very good signing option, and that concludes the video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out my channel if you want to, link down below. I'd greatly appreciate it. I've been Jake for FM Scout. I hope you all have a great day. Stay safe. Thank you to SPITCH for sponsoring the video. And that's everything. I'll see you next time, guys. Thank you and goodbye.